This is Stefan Schmidt for InsiderIowa.com. We're on the road this week here, as you can see, in our mobile unit, so to speak, hitting some of the political hotspots in Iowa and talking to people and trying to get our stories finally honed and ready to deliver back to you. The caucuses are approaching pretty quickly, and the Republican field is still very large. And this is a real problem for the campaigns and for the caucuses, because when you have 6, 7 people competing, it waters down the front runner, and whoever the front runner is likely to have very low percentages, and it makes it less convincing. So what we're speculating about is who will be the next candidate to drop out of the 2012 Republican presidential campaign. My view is that probably none of the candidates that are still in there are going to drop out before the Iowa caucuses are over. And the reason is that they don't have to invest a lot. They don't have to do much of anything. They can simply say, well, I'm not going to campaign in Iowa because I'm busy campaigning elsewhere, and I'm not going to spend a lot of money. And they can stay in and let the chips fall where they may, and I think that's probably what's going to happen. The only possibility is Herman Cain, who's had a sexual harassment accusation from 2 former employees, and if that story gets much bigger, it may be that he will decide that he's been damaged too much, but I don't personally believe so. I think we'll see them all stay in now, even the ones that are sliding to the bottom of the polls. And in Iowa, strangely enough, Michelle Bachmann is not doing very well, but she's still very passionate about running. Newt Gingrich has actually risen in the polls, so certainly Newt Gingrich is going to stay in this thing. And Mr. Huntsman, the former governor of Utah, will stay in through New Hampshire. He's put all his eggs in the New Hampshire basket. He's not going to pull out because he's not really competing in Iowa anyway. And some of the minor marginal candidates that we don't even talk about are irrelevant, so whether they drop out or not is of very little interest to us. Rick Santorum is not doing very well, but what I'm speculating today is that some of them are going to hope that they get the supporters that were behind Herman Cain, who may now be upset about his sexual harassment scandal and the bad publicity he's getting, and may decide to switch over to another candidate. But Rick Santorum's campaign is not doing very well. He's certainly down the list pretty far, and so I have a feeling that if anybody drops out, it could very well be him. Conservatives and Tea Party people still have a very big field with candidates that fit the conservative Republican criteria, and so I think we need to hang on here and watch them all performing and raising money and trying to jockey with each other, and it'll be a lot of fun between now and the Iowa caucuses, because it'll be an exciting contest. I think the campaign will get much harsher. They'll start attacking each other more. And the curious thing is that Herman Cain and Mitt Romney, who are the front runners in Iowa right now, haven't campaigned very much in Iowa. So there's some question as to whether you have to campaign in Iowa to do well in the polls. I know that you have to be well organized in Iowa to win the caucuses or do well, because the caucuses, you have to have 1,700 precincts covered on caucus night, and that takes quite a bit of organization. So no one drops out in my book in the next few weeks, but a lot of people will drop out right after the Iowa caucuses and then the New Hampshire primary. Stefan Schmidt for Insider Iowa in the mobile unit here, doing some reporting from across the state.